Okay, so I've had several people ask me about these videos that are on TikTok and Instagram about people having metal or saying that they're magnetic after they've gotten the vaccine. So you guys have, if you're watching this video, you've probably seen these videos, and people at work and other people are asking about these things. So I thought I'd make a video to show why this is impossible. It's impossible for the vaccine to make you magnetic, at least to the extent that is being shown in these videos. And what's being shown in these videos is just simple physics. Um, and we'll get into that. But anyway, there's all these videos on Instagram about and TikTok about people sticking things on them. What's funny is a lot of these videos are actually like people sticking quarters on them, and quarters aren't even magnetic. They're made of mostly copper, and they don't stick to magnets. You can get a quarter yourself and a magnet and see if the quarter sticks to the magnet. And so, people are saying things like, this is,
And
I guess, what
some
happened
of the information that I think had been discussed on your
in
podcast
Ohio.
related to
There's
EMF
some doctor named
frequencies.
That was
Sherry
a
Tenpenny.
thought.
And
And it
would
was,
you,
I mean,
could you
because
elaborate
right
on
now
that?
we're all kind of hypothesizing. I mean, what is it that's actually being transmitted that's causing all of these things? Is it a combination of the protein, which now we're finding has a metal attached to it? I'm sure you've seen the pictures all over the internet of people who've had these shots and now they're magnetized. They can put a key on their forehead, it sticks. They can put spoons and forks all over them and they can stick. Because now we think that there's a metal piece to that. There's been
Okay, first of all, um, the mRNA vaccines have no protein in them, so and she's saying that there's a metal attached to the thing that they're injecting in the vaccines, and that's making you magnetic. We'll do some math and figure and show why that's like not possible to have the effects that are being seen in these videos. But basically, what people are doing is this. Let's see if I can make this bigger. Okay. So what people are doing is they are getting some metal and they're sticking it on their hand, and they're saying, "Oh, look, it sticks." And you can get to a fairly vertical angle and it still sticks. Of course, with a heavier thing, once you get more vertical, it'll eventually slip off. With something lighter, like I have a safety pin here, you can actually go probably past vertical and it still sticks. See, I'm like upside down. It finally fell off. Okay, so obviously when someone's holding something like this, you're like, well, that's not magnetism, that's just gravity, right? There's several forces at work here. There's gravity. So as the angle becomes more horizontal, gravity's acting more, and as it becomes more vertical, gravity's acting less on it. And there's two other forces or three other forces that are working on. There's frictional forces. There's friction between the whatever you're using in your skin, and there's adhesion forces and cohesion forces. So it'll work better if there's a little bit of wetness. Things will stick a little bit better. And if it's drier, it won't work quite as good. But basically, you can make anything stick to your skin for a little while. It has nothing to do with magnetism. Um, and so, whenever you're doing an experiment to prove something, you want to try to get rid of all the confounding factors. So, the confounding factors in this are friction, adhesion forces, and cohesion forces. You want to get those off the table. So, you want to minimize surface area and minimize the angle to it. So I mean, if something's actually magnetic, you should be able to pick it up from a perfectly vertical point. And when I was looking into this, I found out that people actually do implant magnets into themselves. I didn't know that people do this, but there are people that implant magnets into themselves. It's very interesting. What these people do is they implant neodymium magnets. Neodymium magnets are the strongest magnets that are known to man, and they put like a little 3 millimeter by 1 millimeter disc or cylinder of this neodymium magnet underneath usually their ring finger. And what this allows them to do is they can feel magnetic forces. They can like sense it, like when motors are going. Um, they said that the things that in the stores that keep people from stealing clothes. That's a very strong magnet. When they demagnetize those things, they can sense those from like ways away with their finger. And I found a cool video of this guy who had an implant, a magnet implanted in his finger. And so you see the thing sticking to him. And you'll see when you actually have a magnet in there, this is how you can prove it. He's holding the thing completely vertical. And there is frictional forces and adhesion forces have almost no bearing on the way that this is working. It's completely vertical. So if you're actually magnetized, you should be able to do things like this. Oh, wait, sorry. Let me rewind this. Yeah, so he has it magnetized, and there you go. It's completely vertical. The point of contact is very tiny, so friction and adhesion have almost nothing to do with it. It's purely the magnetism that's making this work. So yeah, people are if you have actually something magnetic in your body, it should behave like this. So here, like I have a magnet that I got, that it's the head actuator from a hard drive I took off. And if you have a magnet, you should be able to like stick something like this on your finger, and then when you take the magnet away, it drops. So that's how like actual magnetism works. Every single one of these videos just basically shows friction and adhesion and cohesion forces, usually from hydrostatic adhesion and cohesion. Um, but there's many different factors. It has to do with the angle. It's like almost vertical or somewhat vertical. If you have it vertical, some people there's enough adhesion and cohesion and friction forces for it to stay on there. And it'll vary from people to people. You can like this works on people. It's worked on people all the time. Like people like stuck spoons to their noses. It was like a little party trick from years ago. So this is not has nothing to do with the vaccine. You can try it on unvaccinated people. It works fine. Stuff will stick to them. Um, and if they actually have a vaccine and they think it's magnetic, should tell them to try to put something in a vertical position, just like in these videos, and see if it sticks. If that sticks, then you can take kind of the adhesion and cohesion forces off the table. Hopefully that makes sense.